Hello, I am here with Rosie this morning, and Rosie is a nutritionalist and she is an expert in pregnancy nutrition, and she's a huge inspiration to me. So I've asked her to come and chat all things nutrition and pregnancy. So here we go. Hi, Rosie.
Hi, Amy. Well, thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here. So I know you said let's talk about fertility, move on to pregnancy, and I'll try and be succinct and not ramble. Let's start with fertility, because I suppose that's kind of where it all begins, really. So the first thing that I would say about nutrition in general, whether it's for fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, is it's an amazing modality to optimize your health, to get your body back into balance. Don't be fooled in thinking it is the only modality. I get lots of clients who come to me wanting nutrition to be a panacea for every single issue they've got in their life. And I'm very clear and upfront that it's not. And you might also need emotional support, you might need physical support, as well as the nutritional support. And I think that's really important to kind of put it in that framework. What I do love about nutrition is I often see a lovely kind of butterfly effect of when people start to feel better through nutrition, then they've now got the energy to do yoga. They've now got the energy to look at other things, whether that's oils, whether that's counselling, whatever it is, to then improve their health even further. But it's kind of one part of a much bigger puzzle. With fertility nutrition, if you're trying to conceive or you're thinking about trying to conceive, the really important thing to know is you really need to have at least give your body a 3-month window of time to get your body back into balance. And that includes you and your partner. So sperm health is 50% of the fertility equation. Women aren't 90% of it, they're 50% of it. And I think we sometimes forget the men. And I see lots of female clients who have, their body is a temple and their partner's not done anything. And in actual fact, it's a sperm health issue. So that's important to mention. In terms of practical things you can do to improve your fertility, I suppose some basic things that most people could incorporate are things like you need to manage your blood sugar levels and you need to reduce your cortisol. So insulin and cortisol, whether you're looking at nutrition for fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, they're the two hormones you want to regulate, because in terms of the cascade effects onto things like your sex hormones, starts at insulin, it starts at cortisol. So the two main hormones you want to start with looking at are those. So the way to regulate your insulin through food is you want to have a good mix of healthy fats, healthy proteins, complex carbohydrates, and fiber. So you want all of those things in your diet. So if you're scared of fats, or you're scared of eating too much fat, for instance, and you're just relying on carbohydrates for a main source of fuel, all that will do is it means your body's running on kindling rather than coal or logs. So you're just going to run out of fuel and then you're going to crave constantly throughout the day. So the simplest way to manage your blood sugar levels, make sure you're having all of those nutrients in your meals throughout the day. Tons of vegetables, eat the rainbow, drink water. It's kind of these things that aren't revolutionary, but start with the basic. It's not like no one's going to buy a book with those sorts of bits of advice in there because they're quite obvious. Everyone knows they need to drink water. So simple things like what might a healthy breakfast look like. So simple things like moving away from just oats in your porridge to adding chia seeds, adding flax seeds, adding walnuts, adding pumpkin seeds. All of a sudden, that's a completely different meal that will sustain you until lunchtime, for instance. Or if you're having a salad, make sure that you're having good protein sources, good healthy fats. So not just your leaf salad, whether that's adding the cliched avocado, adding seeds, nuts, pulses, legumes, dairy if you can tolerate dairy, some healthy organic meats, and yeah, they're the simplest things. And that will also then reduce your cortisol, your stress hormone, because having your insulin all over the place then means your cortisol's all over the place. So that is definitely step one. If you're struggling with that and you're not really getting the benefits from a basic healthy diet like that, then I'd always say go back and look at your gut health, because that could be the issue. And we aren't what we eat, we are what we absorb, drink and think. So if there's actually an absorbency issue, then you need to look at your gut health. So I see lots of clients when I'm looking through their diet diary and I'm like, amazing, really nutritious, really nutrient dense, but hang on a minute, they've got bloating, constipation, diarrhea, they're getting reflux, they're just not absorbing those nutrients. So then it'd be more of a gut health protocol type scenario to go with. So I have got my online fertility nutrition e-course, which we talk about gut health, we talk about the basic fundamentals, but then we also build on it and say, well, hang on a minute, what if I've got polycystic ovaries? What if I've got a low thyroid? What if I've got endometriosis? What are the more nuanced things for me that I can do? But we definitely wouldn't be able to talk about those in 20 minutes. So we'll leave those.
Your fertility online course,
was launched yesterday.
Amazing, so exciting. And how long would it take somebody to do the course?
It's about 4 hours worth of videos, including lots of PDFs, in the format of, you get 4 free videos at the start where we talk about testing, tracking your cycle, gut health, and also kind of my overview of nutrition. Then we move on to the basic principles of a fertility friendly diet, where we talk about macronutrients, so protein, fats, carbs, micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, as well as things like we cover off dairy, gluten, organic food. What else do we cover? Even like water, salt.
Would you say this course is for anybody? That so it just say, like, for example, if I'd not had any children yet and I thought I want to get into a really healthy space, ready to conceive, and then somebody that's been struggling to conceive, and then what happens if it's somebody that's been struggling for quite a while and they've been into have examinations and different sorts of tests and looking at IVF? Is it for everybody?
Yes, so it's a smorgasbord of offerings. So although it's 4 hours worth of videos, for your individual situation, it might be 2 hours worth of videos, because you watch the gut health section, the overview of fertility nutrition, and in actual fact, you might then look at the IVF section, because that suits your scenario, the sperm health section, because that suits your scenario, and maybe the weight loss section, because that's what suits your scenario. Or you might be like, actually, none of those are applicable to me. I've got polycystic ovaries and I've also got endometriosis. I need to focus on those parts of the course. So yeah, whether you've not started trying yet, whether you've been trying months or years, or whether you're going for IVF, it's a course that's suitable to everyone. And it's £29, so I kind of wanted to always do the online courses at a price that was really affordable. Kind of like, because I know coming to see me, it's not cheap and not everyone can afford that, but I was also aware that I had so much kind of like knowledge that I wanted to share. And that's why I really wanted to do the courses. If you've got a super complex condition, and in actual fact, navigating your way through it alone might well be difficult. And that's when I think the one-to-one might also kind of has its place, if you like. Because sometimes people are just in a muddle. And also sometimes people, they don't want to watch videos. They're like, I'd rather pay you so you can tell me exactly what I should be doing, because I'm actually time poor, but a bit more cash rich. So yeah, I've kind of got both offerings that will hopefully suit different people.
And So moving from the fertility, if they've been eating well, and do you find that if they've been eating well, it's an easier transition into that first trimester where you can feel really sick? Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
No, but I do find that clients that I've had, it's more that they feel better after they've had the baby than that first trimester.
Mm.
And I do sometimes get clients or even just friends that kind of say, oh God, but I can't eat anything but like crackers and bagel in my first trimester. I did all of this preparation to get pregnant, and now it's like gone up the swanny. And I'm like, well, in actual fact, like that's, you've put in all of that good nutrition to support your egg health, to support your womb, to support kind of the baby's first initial bit of life. Like 3 months in the grand scheme of things is nothing.
Yeah.
But I've not seen it necessarily like everyone that's put in the work, they don't suffer in the first trimester. I'd love it if that was the case. Like, yeah, then it means you never have any sickness or tiredness. I've not seen that, no. But I have seen then people recover much quicker,
Yeah,
once they've had a baby.
and what would you say then in the first trimester is your tip for getting through those nauseous weeks, and you can feel really nauseous and really tired, and you know all these hormones are starting to come in? What would you say is your tip from a nutrition
Perspective?
Yeah.
I would say literally go with whatever your body's asking you for.
Nice.
Whether
Wow. I love that. Yeah.
a crisps or a bagel, because it's so individual. Like those cravings are so individual. And if I'm saying like have broccoli, have blah blah blah, and you're like, yeah, but all I want to eat is crackers, like that's the only thing that will stop me have that gippy feeling, then I think you've got to go with it. I mean, I would say the things like trying where you can to manage those blood sugar levels, having something before you rise in the morning can be really helpful. But even sometimes people struggle to take their prenatal because just the thought of swallowing a prenatal during that time is too much. So you can get things, they're called patch MD. So they look like nicotine patches, but they're a multivitamin that you can just stick on your arm every day. That will mean that you'll get that multivitamin kind of going through your system. So as kind of something quite practical that you could do just to make sure you're getting a bit of something, the patch MD are a lovely workaround.
Yeah, I've not heard of those before, but I know with fruit in the morning when you are waking up or before you wake up, that really helped me lots.
Yeah, having something dry.
Yeah, dry. I had either crackers next to my bed, or my obsession was Marks and Spencer's nectarines. They were like, But did you feel nauseous in your first time?
Yeah, really nauseous. I mean, I was never sick, and when I say really nauseous, I feel like some people would be like, that was nothing. Yeah, I mean, I lived on crisps, bagels, toast. Like I remember like going to Tesco and getting literally a basket of beige, and I was like, what if I bump into a client? And they're like, hang on a minute, you've got a basket full of beige in there. And I'm like, yeah, just what about all of these healthy foods? So it was like I was like going to like buy drugs in the shop. I was like, I hope I don't see anyone. So yeah, very nauseous.
Yeah. And were you tired?
Really tired. Like narcolepsy.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that?
Yeah. But with Ace, I just wanted to eat really bad food, and with Koa, it was things like oranges, pineapple, like a whole lettuce.
Mm.
Wow, this baby, where's this baby come from? And it was such a refreshing change from like shoving chocolate mini rolls down my face and with Ace. So they were so different. But yeah, I totally agree with you. You just got to go with what you're feeling in those moments, haven't you?
And don't feel the guilt. Like, I think it's the thing of no food is good or bad. No food makes you a good or a bad person. Whether I have 10 green smoothies a day or I have 10 McDonald's a day, it's not a judgment on who I am as a person. And I think especially if you've been working on your health, it can almost become part of your identity, but not necessarily. I don't think that attachment becoming a judgment is ever healthy. Yeah,
definitely. I love that, because you just have to go with it, don't you? And it comes back round.
Your first lesson in surrendering.
Love that. Yeah, just learning to let go.
Yeah,
massive learning. Yeah. So you've got another course, haven't you, that is pregnancy specific, and is that the first, second, third trimester?
And then there's a big section on postpartum breastfeeding.
Wow.
So I'd say first, second, third trimester is about 25% of the whole course. The other 25% is postpartum nutrition, breastfeeding nutrition, if that's something that you're doing. And then the other 50% is general nutrition for health, whether you're pregnant or otherwise. So that's roughly how I would split it out. We talk about gut health and all of those sorts of things as well.
Right, yeah. And have you ever come across this book by, I can't remember her name, but it's called Gentle Birth?
Let me see. Let me see if I know it from the look of the cover. Who wrote it? Can you remember?
Dr. somebody. She's an Ayurvedic doctor. She's got a big practice in London, and she helps a lot of women.
Yes. Yeah.
Come across it, and she says if you're eating gluten, then it's going to cause all sorts of issues. Your baby could grow very big, and you'll deliver late, and you might end up having to have a C-section, or what's the word? Where they make you give birth.
Oh, like being induced.
Induced, yeah, that's it, yeah. So with Ace, I just ate what I wanted to eat the whole way through, and I just went with it. And they think he stopped growing at a certain point, and he came out 17 days late. They tried to induce me, and after like 24 hours, they had a C-section, and he was 6 pounds 11. So part of me thinks he wasn't ready to come out. He could have done a bit more growing. And then another part of me thinks, maybe the way I was eating and my body wasn't in great health, it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do as well as it could. So with Koa, I really made an effort to eat better, move more, and he came on his due date all by himself, even though they told me I shouldn't. I should have a C-section. And and I do look back and think the difference between the two pregnancies that stands out is the way I looked after myself through food and through caring for my body with movement and using oils and reflexology and all of these things. Do you feel or think that could have a big difference on the way that how your pregnancy goes and your birth?
I think it can definitely have an impact. I think the thing with nutrition as well as yoga as well as reflexology is there's never a causal link between the two. So I do X, therefore Z happens. It's the lots of little changes add up to a huge shift, but pinpointing what specifically made that shift is near on impossible, because it was about getting your body back into balance.
Yeah.
Not through one thing, but lots of different things, which I know is frustrating for my clients when they're like, but which bit of it worked? And I'm like, it's probably a bit of everything. They're like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think what you eat can definitely affect your pregnancy experience, your birth experience, your postpartum experience. If nothing else, from that knock-on effect of I've got more energy, therefore going to pregnancy yoga is a pleasure. I feel like I'm sleeping better. So I think it definitely does have a knock-on effect. But also I don't know whether it's also the panacea to everything. Like I was saying at the beginning, like it doesn't mean shit still can't hit the fan.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes for whatever reason something may happen. But I think it definitely gives you a good starting point.
Yeah. Yes, I like that, thank you. And with the pregnancy then, do you is there certain foods that you say avoid, like for raising the blood sugar? Do you say avoid sugar?
Ideally avoid sugar.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you've got any form of like autoimmune condition, whether that's things like Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, then yes, avoiding gluten and avoiding cow's dairy can be beneficial, whether pregnant or not, but definitely if you are pregnant. See kind of how you feel with that. And I would say get as much variety as possible is going to be great for your pregnancy, arguably also for your baby's taste buds. Like we know their taste sensors start in the gut, and those tastes can pass over through the placenta. So they're more likely to be more adventurous when you're weaning and all of those sorts of things, which, you know, that's like mind blown. So variety is key, because again, what I see a lot of in clinic is people really will eat tons of vegetables, but they're like kind of having the same 5 vegetables. You know, it's like, but they're not having that much variety. And I think definitely basing your diet for the majority of people around plants is definitely the way forward. But I think if you're going to prioritize anything to be organic, make sure it's meat, make sure it's dairy, and make sure it's eggs, because you don't want to be putting any kind of additional foreign hormones in your body, especially at that point that you're pregnant.
Great advice.
Yeah, so I think if you are someone, if you are, someone that feels comfortable with eating meat and those sorts of things, then its quality is key.
Yeah.
And if that means in actual fact you can only afford to have it a couple of times a week, only have it a couple of times a week. Omega-3s are great for building your brain, but also baby's brain in utero. Vital. So again, if you can eat fish, go for the smaller oily fish first. So things like sardines are great. But equally, if you don't eat fish, then make sure you're taking a vegan omega-3. So Cytoplan as a brand does a lovely vegan omega-3, just to make sure that you're getting some of those omega-3s in there.
And for a plant-based person, and that isn't eating meat or fish, what are your top 3 ideas for protein intake?
Tempeh.
What's that made out of?
It's made out of edamame, so it's fermented tofu.
Yeah.
But often it's organic, and it's also fermented, so it's that digestion process has kind of already started, so it's easier to assimilate the proteins.
Yeah.
Then nuts, seeds, legumes. I mean, like obsessed with chia seeds. Obsessed. I mean, like a plant-based breakfast with your oats, your flax seeds, your chia seeds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, like you're ticking off so many boxes, you know, add some fruits to it, plant-based milk. I'd say the thing that's hardest on a plant-based diet are things like calcium, CoQ10, choline, actually, are harder to get than protein.
Right. And where would you get those from then?
So calcium, you need to really go for fortified things.
Yeah.
So go for your fortified oat milks or plant-based milks, but make sure they are fortified. And because that's really important. You don't want your teeth to maybe going to the dentist in 10, 20 years time and realise that they're all falling out, because your baby will be fine, is I suppose what I'm trying to say. It'll be mum that's left with a calcium depletion. Tahini, sesame seeds, dark sesame seeds are the best form of plant-based calcium. Then
Great to hear.
Yeah, I know, like tahini tastes amazing.
Yeah.
Have it for everything. It's like the yummiest thing ever.
The other two things I've not even heard of.
Choline. Yeah, so it's it's kind of, I do talk about it in my Bump to Baby. It's great for a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, so it's great for like a calming feeling. And I'd say probably actually, if you are vegan, it'd be best to take it in a supplement.
Right.
So I use Seeking Health as a brand of choline, phosphatidyl choline, which is lovely because it is really hard in a plant-based diet.
Health. Okay. Yeah.
And there is a section in the Bump to Baby and the Fertility that says, if you are vegetarian, this is kind of what I'd recommend. If you are vegan, this is what I'd recommend. And to kind of work through. Because I think if you're plant-based, you're vegan, and I mean, I do see lots of clients who felt amazing being vegan for 2-3 years, and then they start to decline. And I just think it's worth noting that that's often because lots of the fat-soluble vitamins stay in our body for up to 3 years. So it's only after that period you can start to feel a bit depleted. But often my clients don't make the connection because it's so long after. So I just think it is worth being mindful that it's not necessarily straight away that you start to feel that depletion. It's often years down the line.
Yeah, and eggs, what do they offer for?
They're like a choline powerhouse. I mean, like they offer protein, amazing amino acids, choline, lots of healthy cholesterol. They're an absolute powerhouse.
Brilliant. That's good to hear. So all the plant-based mamas out there would, it would be an idea to think about having some eggs.
Definitely. And I even know clients who, like, they just don't feel right getting eggs from the supermarkets. They've actually got chickens and like made sure they were reared themselves to make sure they were happy with it. But I'd say if you are a plant-based mama, if you were just to introduce eggs, that would tick off a lot of boxes. So plant-based plus eggs, you are checking off a lot of things.
Wow. So glad I asked that question. You are so full of knowledge, and I'm not pregnant, but I really want to do your course. So I'm going to have a little look into it a little bit more now we've had this talk. And you're just one last thing then to give somebody a tip for, what do you think? Give someone a tip for their 4th trimester?
Warm, nourishing foods and rest.
Lovely. So soups, stews.
Yeah. Because in Chinese medicine, you're moving from yang, hot, heat, to yin, which is cold. You've just birthed a baby. This vessel of your stomach is needs warmth to rebuild, that blood nurturing, so warm, even if it's hot, like still more as in temperature wise. Yeah, warming things for the body and rest, 100%.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, Rosie, so much. So what's your website?
It's www.rosielife.org.
Yes.
And probably the best place to find me is on Instagram, which is Rosie Life Nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me a direct message if.
Yeah. You're always putting on fab things on your story, so
thank you.
You're a great inspiration for anybody listening to this to go and follow Rosie. If you're pregnant or you know someone that's pregnant, direct them to Rosie. I know when you become pregnant, you just start following all these other pregnancy people, and Rosie's one of those people that you should follow, definitely.
Thank you.
Yes, amazing. Oh, thank you, Rosie, so much. And I'm sure if you've got any questions, Rosie will answer them on her Instagram if you send her a message over there.
Definitely. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you so much.